In life, it's good to learn at least one skill. But could this be the dying art? Is it still perceived to be for our mothers and grandmothers? Is that the reason why within this art you'll find such names like Grandmother's Square? Is it still a woman's thing, or has it opened up to other gender? Is it still for school dropouts, or for those who have not attained good grades to join colleges? But could it also be the answer to mental health issues and other upcoming health conditions? All that is required is yarn. Just yarn, whether this single or double thread, and a needle. Let's find out more. Welcome to African Mom's World, where we talk about culture, religion, parenting, gardening, cooking. We inspire ourselves and also get to educate others. So as you can see from the title, we are talking about learning a skill, at least one skill, while you are still young, because it will definitely come in handy at one time. In this case, I'm going to talk about crocheting, which for me has been there for decades or years. But it has still not picked up in Africa. In Kenya, it is one of those subjects that has been introduced in the competency-based curriculum, where children are now, are they children or learners? Learners are now supposed to make different projects using wool in school. So parents are now becoming more aware, they're becoming more alert, and can actually organize for their children to get more exposure in terms of crocheting and also knitting. So today we are going to discuss about this skill. Among other skills, African moms actually knew this. Instead of them moving and walking in neighbors' places, after work they would sit and crochet or knit. I even remember teachers, especially primary school teachers, those who are teaching the lower primary 1, 2, 3, and even kindergarten, they were accused of doing crocheting while in school. But because their lessons ended at around midday, then in the afternoon, after marking the books, they would sit and crochet because the school program ended at around 5. So what would they do? So they kept themselves busy. Some of them even sold them. But it's a skill that you don't necessarily have to make it for you to wear. It is one that keeps you busy, and it is fun. It's also a way of gifting. For example, what I'm wearing today, this outfit, some people call it a shawl, others call it a poncho. This one is actually gifted to me by my mother. She's actually 80 years and she still crochets and knits. Everybody coming to our home, not everybody, but many people who have come to our home have gotten a gift, 1 or 2 gifts, because that's what she does, and she loves giving. For her, giving something that she has put in energy. I know this is crocheting out of love. This coming up with these patterns takes some time. So it's something that it's done out of love, and when given, she feels happy. I have also followed that. I actually crochet a lot. In Kenya, wool is made from merino sheep, and these sheep are mainly found in a town called Naivasha. So the wool is actually spinned and twisted to form the yarn. So crocheting, like any other skill, should not be ignored because it has several health benefits. So just imagine as you are making an item, be it a hat, a scarf, a headband, a shawl, whatever you're making, the concentration that is put on it. You know, even if you are stressed or in that state of depression, just the thought of focusing on the skill, on counting the threads, yarn over, making the chain stick, counting, moving to the next hole, turning to the next row, done several times. This will actually calm down somebody and reduce the anxiety that they had. It is also something that can reduce blood pressure because it prevents one from getting so angry and makes their blood pump slowly. It also makes the brain alert because when you're crocheting, you can't do it when you're not in the mood. It has to do with a lot of calculation. You don't need not necessarily the mathematical calculation, but which stitch goes where after how many stitches, where are you doing yarn over, where are you skipping, where are you reducing. So it is a lot. It keeps the mind alert. And as you know, as you age, some people may not be as active to participate in some of these exercises that will make their brains alert. I remember growing up, we had some really mental exercises where you'd look at the back of an exercise book and you'd see snakes and ladders. So you'd try and climb the ladders and evade the snake until you get to the top. Then you'd also find some games which would keep your brain alert. Even mathematical calculation, it was mental. The teacher would just come in, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 2, and you answer on the spot. So that was really mental. It no longer happens. So that means we are not having enough exercises for the brain right from childhood. But as we grow, there are issues that deal with dementia or forgetfulness if the mind is not kept alert. So it is good that we know some of these things will come in handy even as we age. Other than just keeping us busy and gifting people, it also keeps the brain alert. And even when you are in times of illnesses that may be so painful, just imagine when you have nothing to do and you are sick, very sick. Your mind is just on that illness, and I tell you, it will get worse. You know, you can feel the pain wherever. But even in times of illness, when you have a skill like crocheting, which is a soft skill, it doesn't require a lot of muscle or a lot of energy, but it's a calm one. Attention can be refocused from listening to the pain to doing the counting, and with love doing the crocheting, which you're going to gift somebody or even for yourself. So let's see how this can be done. I didn't intend to give a practice, but it's good just to have a feel of what this crocheting is. And today we're just going to learn 2 basic things, because that's what crocheting is really about. Having that beginning knot, the slip knot, and then a chain stitch. Because whatever stitch you are going to make or to use on crocheting, it's basically founded on the chain stitch. So there are 2 things two basics that a beginner needs to learn: how to make a slip knot and how to make a chain stitch. So for a slip knot, take the edge of your wool, then turn it round your finger and pull the thread through. So this hole will be a little bigger, but you should pull the shorter thread so that there is space for you to put in your needle and be able to pull thread through it. You see this one is a bit bigger, so you pull again, make it smaller like that. Okay, so this is why it's called a slip knot. You just pull it apart. So again, you do that, then pull in between the finger like that, pull the shorter thread, put in your needle, and now we are going to begin the chain stitch. So chain stitch simply means you put the needle in the hole, then turn as if you're putting the wool over the needle. Actually, that's why it's called yarn over. Then you pull it in between the hole. Again, make this a little longer. Yarn over, then pull again. Yarn over, pull again. Yarn over, again, like that. So for beginners, it can be a little tough in terms of non-flexibility, but as you practice, you become flexible and faster and faster. So anything, whichever pattern you use on crocheting, is just based on this yarn over and passing it through a hole. So you may be passing it through one or two, but that is the basic. Yeah. So happiness is a choice. Just be happy. That's how it goes. Start slowly. As you get used, you'll become more flexible and enjoy. So you can make the chain as long as you wish based on the item that you want before you make the first line. So for today, we're just learning about the basics. What you need is just yarn and a needle. The needle will be based on the size of the wool, and then make your knot, slip knot at the beginning. Ensure that it's firm enough, it doesn't come off, and then continue with the chain stitch. When you reach wherever you want, whatever you have planned, then you can begin the second row, which is ideally the pattern. But that is the basics of crocheting. Yeah, I like it. Visiting most African moms' homes, you'd find this. The chairs, not only at the sitting area, but also at the backrest and the armrest, well covered. Not only on the chairs, but even on the stools like this one here, the tables, and even the cupboards. Well-made decorations, designs, they looked really beautiful. One thing that I recall and was very interesting is that when a visitor was about to enter the house, even when they just saw the visitors, my mother would say, "Timongo ne munju," meaning tima means run, ngona means tidy, munju is house. So that meant run and tidy the house. So that was just about straightening the crochets on the chairs, on the tables, everywhere where there was a crochet, so that by the time the visitor comes, oh, it's looking really nice. And those crochets used to be straightened 2-3 times a day. First thing in the morning, immediately after you sweep, the crochets are there. So there were several sets, and they kept being changed. And that is actually the norm for most of the homes. This is quickly fading, but you'll still find it in some homes. Most homes, you'd find this spot in the living room, in the corner. It was a big pot for drinking water. So this pot was raised and it was covered with a lid. In most cases, the lid was a plastic plate. So that plastic plate was covered with a crochet, and the crochet had hanging designs which covered the lower portion or the wider area of the pot. Then there was this cup that was put on top of the crochet. That cup is the one that would draw water. Then when you want to drink water, you'd use that cup. So you remove the cup, remove the crochet, remove the lid, draw the water and put it into another cup that you want to use, then return it again. So the crochet was, I think in most homes, that was the most beautiful of the crochets. Then there was this other one that I cannot forget. You know, a radio was a very valuable thing for most of the dads. Actually, the home radio belonged to the father. So you'd see most dads walking around after work with their radios, especially in the evening. You know, it had this strap. Yeah. Then there was this crochet that was specifically made to cover the radio. So you'd see him walking around, and this behavior was actually tapped by most of the young boys. Once they were able to buy anything, the radio was mostly the first thing to buy. So in my community, the radio is where most people were able to send greetings. So they would listen in the hope that somebody is going to greet them. You know, in Kenya, we call them salam. So I'm sending salams to so and so. You'd feel very nice if your name was mentioned. So they walked around with it. Then you'd see them strolling, dads strolling around their farm, seeing the progress with the radio, loud, very loud. On a day when there was this match that was mainly between two famous football teams, Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards. You'd go to most homes, there is a stool that has been placed somewhere with this crochet. Then there is that radio with also another crochet. The father would mostly be seated there, and then the sons or neighbors, but it was mainly young men, they've put it very high volume, listening to that radio. You know, those are things that I say learn a skill, because you can see the sort of memories that they are just using that radio. Lastly, there was this very interesting one. You know, when a lady gets married, there's this suitcase that she carries with her clothes from her home to her marital home. Guess what? Apart from the few clothes that she's carrying, there is a set of crocheted items with clear instructions from the mother. Immediately you arrive in your home, ensure that you have made your house look smart. So you're going to decorate that house with the crochets that you have come with from your home. And who made them? Your mother would make you make those crochets. Normally it was a 5-seater one, both for the armrests, for the sitting area, the backrest, at least one table, a few stools, and then for the cupboard, because mostly that is what was given as a gift. So that's why I'm saying learn at least one skill, because this is one of the things that was given as a gift. You'd get it as a gift, a set of crocheted items for your wedding. And also, it was not a bad idea, because someone would continue with it and make those crochets for sale. So they're actually having an income. If you have learned something, please share this video. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. For the new ones, welcome, and kindly leave a comment. See you in the next video.